Couple little things. Old mouse pad. We don't use them much anymore because our mouse, at least mine's an electronic one. You don't need a mouse pad, you just use it anywhere. If you got one of these laying around, you need to reverse your bowl. You don't need a fancy vacuum chuck. You don't need anything else. Throw this against your scroll chuck. Put your bowl against that. Put the tailstock up against it. You can clean that down to the last 1/8 of an inch, and then sand it off. So, you know, you've probably all thrown these away. Now you can use one. A lot of you have seen my trick for paper towels. We go to put a finish on. We take that big roll of paper towels, and we can't find it because it's not handy, and we're ripping it in little pieces. This is small enough. I got it on a peg right over my leg, full piece off. And I use the select the size, so you end up with a little square. You fold it like that, it's perfect for the finish.
How do you cut it?
I have a big old butcher knife that I just, you know, just roll it. I've got it on a bandsaw that makes a lot of dust and a jagged edge. When you're ready, yell, Annie. A lot of you know Bill Hayes, and he has thin bandsaw blanks that he's given a lot of people. You need a thin parting tool, an old steak knife. Just grind the edge on it. You have to look backwards at it. You know, that's down to a 1/16 of an inch. If you do boxes, that comes in real handy. That's the gauge for my one-way chuck for both jaws. I've got a number 2 tenon and a number 2 mortise. That's sticking on a magnet to my lathe. Whenever I want to set to make a tenon, or I set my dividers on that. It's handy. I keep it right here, and I reach down and set it. I don't have to measure or anything else. I've got 2 sets of one-way jaws, one on each chuck, and I've got them both on that. That's just a blank corium that you can cut out of plexiglass or wood or anything. Okay. Anyway, Art showed us
November 13th.
November 13th. Art showed us how to do, among other things, barrel turning. Barrel turning came from England, France, somewhere over there, where they turned the square round balusters for stair rails. By square round, I mean they look square, but they had a little bit of a round on them. The way you determine the radius of that round is how far away from center it is. If you're close, like in this first set of holes, you're going to have a tighter radius than if you're out here somewhere. And if you wanted longer ones, it would just be a matter of taking a disc and bolting through here and drilling other holes. And they would load up this barrel with sticks of wood, 2x2s or whatever, and turn whatever pattern they wanted on it, beads and coves, turn it 90 degrees, do the same, turn it 90 degrees. And several people have done this. I don't know if Art was the first, and I have a picture here that I didn't bring in, but if you've ever seen Art's teapot that he made, it goes like this and like somehow. It's like square round, and he did it on one of these and sold it for a bunch of money. So the jig is simple enough. That's a shaft from any of the metal suppliers, MSC, Enco, whatever. These are disc brake drums. I got them from Northern Hydraulic. Anywhere that sells go-kart parts would work. So I bought 2 discs for, I don't remember because it was so long ago, probably 30 bucks a piece or so, and a piece of shaft, and just had to drill a bunch of holes. I did it for either 3 or 4. Now this was an experiment that didn't work well. I had this dream in the middle of the night that I was going to make a triangular hollow form. So in order to do that, first I had to do the triangle. So, and you can see the 2 that aren't turned, and I can't spin it, I just have a jam between centers. It goes into a chuck here and a tailstock on this end. So, and that's, I turned the tenon on each piece first to go into my 5-inch chuck. So that when I'm done, I can chuck it and do the hollow in. Mounted it in here, turned one side, flipped it 120 degrees, turned the next side, and as it's going around, you can see the shadow of the pattern, so it's pretty easy to get what you want. Flipped it 120 degrees, turned the other side. And then, of course, I put it in my 5-inch chuck and hollowed it out, and you know, we all have ideas. This is a failure, but it could go somewhere. This is somewhere where it went that worked out. Triangular candlesticks that are triangular rounds. You know, you can, heck, I'll pass it around. Pass it around, you can feel that they're rounded and it's different. Kind of artsy. Being an engineer by training, I have to work at doing the artsy stuff. I'm into squares and everything. Okay, quick jigs.
Can I just say something about the offset you just did?
Yes.
In the AAW 1998 issue, there's, I think it's 98, either 98 or 97. There's an issue with Ziggy Angerer, a guy from Germany. And if you go through Germany, you'll find these spindles that are either 4-sided or 3-sided. And they used to make like 12 at one time.
Right.
You know, so it's really old. You know, people have
Yeah,
been doing
it
for a
goes
long
back
time.
before colonial days, I think.
Yeah, so you can find those in some, even some historical books on the wood turning on these different shaped
So there.
spindles.
You guys
You can
need
see
to
them in the
reproduce some German historical handrails. You know how to do it. This is street shopping. Actually, and this, and a whole bunch of things. We all get this thing that we're going to start lifting weights and get back in shape, and 6 months later we clean out the house and put it out for trash pickup. And I saw one of these bars with some weight sitting on a curb for trash pickup, and jammed the brakes on and grabbed it. This was a curb bar.
Dumpster diver.
Dumpster, well, not really even dumpster, street shopping I call it. So, you know, the straight, that's a 1-inch diameter, that's the same as a tool post. That's the bar that they lift the weights with. And out of that 5-foot bar, you can get more adapters for your tool rest than you want to. There's a short one I made, it's got a thread on the end. I chucked it up in my chuck, turned the speed down slow, drilled a hole and tapped it, and you can put whatever you want in there. So I can take that, I can put a platform on it, I can put anything I want. Just drill and tap another hole, screw it on there. This one in particular for reaching in hollow forms. I can reach in the opening there, and I've got support. If I have my little tool, sometimes you get down a little too deep. I owe this idea to Dave DeLoe. He asked me to look down in Atlanta about if they have a tool that can get in deeper, because he was getting chatter. And they didn't have it, but I had this. So I made one for him and one for me.
Did you curve the steel bar?
That's 1-inch diameter from the weights.
No, the curved part, the
Oh, that-
knurled edge.
That's the same bar. I just cut it in half. I took a Sawzall and cut it and then sanded it smooth. No, I did weld it.
So it had a curve to it already.
Oh, this is the bar that they use to,
Curly.
I don't know anything about lifting weights, but somehow they,
Take a straight bar.
yeah, they do different exercises for different things. And while we've got that out, craft supplies, like $2 a piece. You put that on wherever you're comfortable with for your, like my regular tool rest. I know that I want to be for my 1/2-inch gouge I want to be right at that height because that hits me on center. When I get to my 3/8, I can just pick it up a little bit. And oh, it's real easy to adjust also. But these are, for the price, you can't beat them. I had others going first, but then I had one. Carrying that same idea, I drilled down through here. That's not welded, that's just a piece of that weight bar with a piece of angle. And I went one step further because I first just had a platform. Sometimes you have to draw straight lines or whatever. I wanted to make something that I had a router. I had one of those little mini routers, and I wanted a flute. Some of you have seen my granddaughter's jewelry box where it's like a cupcake, and I had to have those V's in there. So my little router rides right up against there. I can set it where I want, and I get a nice straight line. Set it up here on center. So, okay. Wolverine jigs for sharpening. I like this flat gouge of Doug Thompson's. And on my other, there it is. And I like to get a repeatable grind on it. And I wasn't quite getting it on the, I have 3 nice, really even grinds on that. This is your final cut. You know, once you get your bowl gouge and you get it all done, you take this tool and you can get that little angel here off of it. So, I took a piece of bar stock or square tube, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. It's the same diameter that slides into the jig. Piece of core in, but it could be aluminum, it could be wood, anything. I drilled 3 holes in it. You pick up those holes. And took another piece of core in, drilled a 5/8 hole for my tool. So, and pretty much repeated what my setting was on the Sorby tool, or the one-way tool rather. And in the end, I have a little square piece of core in there, so it registers the right, it doesn't slide side to side. So when I'm grinding, I have a line there, that's where I set my depth. Set it on there, roll my first one, move it up one, roll my second one, move it up, roll my third one. I get 3 pretty close to perfect grinds on there, but the top one's all that matters. And it's quick and repeatable. And then I started making other jigs for it too. Since you're all wood turners, I'll give you a project. In fact, I'll just give you 2 projects here. Vince Welsh sells these foamy sanding things. It's got Velcro on the bottom, you just put your discs on it. He didn't have the 2-inch ones. So I just turned a little 2-inch handle. Any foam will do, but the dollar store was closing out these flip-flops for $1 a pair. Cut a disc, glued it onto the bottom, glued some Velcro on it. I got a 2-inch one too. Put all the pads you want on.
Okay.
Next project. That old Phillips screwdriver. Everybody has 17 Phillips screwdrivers that are all rounded over in their house. I put it in a drill. Took the handle off, of course, but you wouldn't have to. Put it in a drill against the belt sander, turned the drill on high speed, got down until I got my taper for my awl. And then, of course, you know, we're wood turners, so we have to make a handle for it. So, handy little project.
Where'd you get the ferrule?
Let me see. That was a handrail Bathroom handrail from somewhere, chromed and it's brass in the inside.
Next door to the.
I like,
Floor.
plumbing fittings are great for ferrules. You know, you look in a plumbing section, and especially in the brass, because they're pretty. I really like those hexagon ones that are on flare fittings, because you got a hex out here and then it tapers down. And you can also screw it on so it doesn't come loose. See, that one, it's winter time, so it's dry. So. I saw Dave Beringer here. I'm going to show you his idea. You've all seen this before. Take the sandpaper you're using, staple it together. You've got them all right here handy. Just go one, fold it back, the next one, the next one, the next one. You don't have to look at what grit you're using because you got 80, 120, 220, 320, or whatever you want to do. They're all in order. When the ends get dull, rip them off, go to the next clean one, throw it away when you're done. Tell me when you're tired of listening to things, you know. Christmas ornaments. Or any kind of hollow form, because you can make any shape you want. That could be a block of anything. It has to take threads. This is a, whatever the electrical people use for insulation board. But it could be
Formica, Bakelite.
Bakelite, or, yeah, it's pressed together. It's like a laminate, but really thick. And, you know, you set this one, set it so that that's 0, and then loosen it up. And whatever thickness, hard to see against that, whatever thickness you have there of your piece, you can see what it is out there. This is, well, it's a piece of stainless rod there, but that's the same diameter as coat hanger. So you can make, you know, 100 different shapes for pennies. Okay, is anybody interested in John Beaver? His wave,
Oops.
lost my thing. John Beaver's wave bowl. I've got a jig back there, and I think slide that on. Well, I thought about, yeah, let's leave it there, and you all can just turn around. Now, I brought a chuck, but it's the wrong size. Hey, let me stand over there so everybody can. So I won't bother to chuck this up. Don't pretend. You turn your bowl around the outside. In order to make this wave bowl, you drill 2 holes. Now it's all solid inside. Drill 2 1/4-inch holes. Put dowels in there so they're a tight fit, so you can pull them out. You don't want real sloppy. And I'm going to give this to you in a real quick nutshell, and I can explain in detail later. You're in the chuck already. You're being turned, and if you turn on a faceplate, you can just use that. You bring the round bowl over to your bandsaw. I have several holes here, and I think I dropped my, well, pretend. I had a 1/4-inch bolt that slides down in here to pivot. I've got a lot of different pivot points here, but one is all that matters. So you just take you set this so that you're going to be where you want to be on your outer cut. And now this is a different band saw than mine, so it's not going to work out just right. So when you go like, you're like this where you want to be, where you want your cut, and you're going to do this. You come through and you make your cut, and then all the way through. That takes this piece off. Now the whole thing is turned down to the outside of that white rim. So then you come in, move it in, whatever thickness you want here, in this case would be an 1/8 inch. You slide this thing in an 1/8 inch, make your second cut. So now you have 3 pieces that are solid. And you pull this intermediate piece out, put a filler in about the same thickness so that you get the right curve. Drill, put a stop on a drill, like a small drill bit, 1/8 inch thick, small, and drill a series of holes for your depth stop. So they're all drilled down. Let's say this extends out an 8, so we drilled our holes an 1/8 inch thick. Put your pins back in, put this back up, put it on the lathe. You turn down the whole bowl until you hit the bottom of those holes. So you maintain the same arc that you had, only a little bit smaller diameter. That's done. Remember, it's still solid in here. These 2 little dowels here are holding it. You're still on the lathe. Pull this off. Slide this ring, that's a solid ring, on with a little bit of glue. Slide this one on, clamp it together. Now at that point you have to wait for the glue to set. Depending on how comfortable you are with turning, I would say a few hours overnight is good. After that's done, you've got it all glued together. This ring is proud of here. The outside is done. And then you just clean the inside out, and you can see if you use the same, I use the contrasting piece here. If you use the same ring that you cut out of here, you won't see this ring on the inside. It'll look like one continuous piece of wood. The grain matches and everything. That's how'd you do it kind of thing. Because you've got this with that raised wave in it. John's going around the country still teaching this method. He devised it. He's still teaching this method. And it's just one of the gee whiz things that's interesting to do. Okay, guys, I showed off enough. In my granddaughter's jewelry box, where it's like a cupcake, and I had to have those V's in there. So my little router rides right up against there. I can set it where I want, and I get a nice straight line. Set it up here on center. So, okay. Wolverine jigs for sharpening. I like this flat gouge of Doug Thompson's. And on my other, there it is. And I like to get a repeatable grind on it. And I wasn't quite getting it on the, I have 3 nice, really even grinds on that. This is your final cut. You know, once you get your bowl gouge and you get it all done, you take this tool and you can get that little angel here off of it. So, I took a piece of bar stock or square tube, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. It's the same diameter that slides into the jig. Piece of core in, but it could be aluminum, it could be wood, anything. I drilled 3 holes in it. You pick up those holes. And took another piece of core in, drilled a 5/8 hole for my tool. So, and pretty much repeated what my setting was on the Sorby tool, or the one-way tool rather. And in the end, I have a little square piece of accordion in there, so it registers the right, it doesn't slide side to side. So when I'm grinding, I have a line there, that's where I set my depth. Set it on there, roll my first one, move it up one, roll my second one, move it up, roll my third one. I get 3 pretty close to perfect grinds on there, but the top one's all that matters. And it's quick and repeatable. And then I started making other jigs for it too. Since you're all wood turners, I'll give you a project. In fact, I'll just give you 2 projects here. Vince Welsh sells these foamy sanding things. It's got Velcro on the bottom, you just put your discs on it. He didn't have the 2-inch ones. So I just turned a little 2-inch handle. Any foam will do, but the dollar store was closing out these flip-flops for $1 a pair. Cut a disc, glued it onto the bottom, glued some Velcro on it. I got a 2-inch one too. Put all the pads you want on.
Okay.
Next project. An old Phillips screwdriver. Everybody has 17 Phillips screwdrivers that are all rounded over in their house. I put it in a drill. Took the handle off, of course, but you wouldn't have to. Put it in a drill against the belt sander, turned the drill on high speed, got down until I got my taper for my awl. And then, of course, you know, we're wood turners, so we have to make a handle for it. So, handy little project.
Where'd you get the ferrule?
Let me see. That was a handrail. Bathroom handrail from somewhere, chromed and it's brass in the inside.
Next door to the.
I like plumbing fittings are great for ferrules. You know, you look in the plumbing section, and especially in the brass because they're pretty. I really like those hexagon ones that are on flare fittings because you got a hex out here and then it tapers down, and you can also screw it on so it doesn't come loose. See that one? It's winter time, so it's dry. So, I saw Dave Beringer here. I'm going to show you his idea. You've all seen this before. Take the sandpaper you're using, staple it together. You've got them all right here handy. Just go one, fold it back, the next one, the next one, the next one. You don't have to look at what grit you're using because you've got 80, 120, 220, 320, or whatever you want to do. They're all in order. When the ends get dull, rip them off, go to the next clean one, throw it away when you're done. Tell me when you're tired of listening to things, you know. Christmas ornaments. Or any kind of hollow form because you can make any shape you want. That could be a block of anything, but it has to take threads. This is a, whatever the electrical people use for insulation board. But it could
Formica, Bakelite.
be Bakelite or, yeah, it's pressed together. It's like a laminate but really thick. And, you know, you set this one, set it so that that's 0, and then loosen it up. And whatever thickness, hard to see against that, whatever thickness you have there of your piece, you can see what it is out there. This is, well, it's a piece of stainless rod there, but that's the same diameter as coat hanger. So you can make, you know, 100 different shapes for pennies. Okay, is anybody interested in John Beaver?
Oops.
Lost my thing. John Beaver's wave bowl. I've got a jig back there. Now, I brought a chuck, but it's the wrong size. Let me stand over there so everybody knows. So I won't bother to chuck this up. Now pretend you turn your bowl around the outside. In order to make this wave bowl, you drill 2 holes. Now it's all solid inside. Drill 2 1/4-inch holes. Put dowels in there so they're a tight fit. So you can pull them out. You don't want real sloppy. And I'm going to give this to you in a real quick nutshell, and I can explain it in detail later. you're in the chuck already, you're being turned, and if you turn on a faceplate, you can just use that. You bring the round bowl over to your bandsaw. I have several holes here, and I think I dropped my, well, pretend. I got a 1/4-inch hole that slides down into the pivot. I've got a lot of different pivot points here, but one is all that matters. So you just take the, you set this so that you're going to be where you want to be on your outer cut. And now this is a different band saw than mine, so it's not going to work out just right. So when you go like, you're like this where you want to be, where you want your cut, and then you're going to do this. You come through and you make your cut, and then all the way through. That takes this piece off. Now the whole thing is turned down to the outside of that white rim. So then you come in, move it in, whatever thickness you want here, in this case it would be an 1/8 inch. You slide this thing in an 1/8 inch, make your second cut. So now you have 3 pieces that are solid. And you pull this intermediate piece out, put a filler in about the same thickness so that you get the right curve. Drill, put a stop on a drill, like a small drill bit, 1/8 inch thick, small. And drill a series of holes for your depth stop. So they're all drilled down, let's say this extends out an 8, so we drilled our holes at 1/8 inch thick. Put your pins back in, put this back up, put it on the lathe. You turn down the whole bowl till you hit the bottom of those holes. So you've maintained the same arc that you had, only a little bit smaller diameter. That's done. Remember, it's still solid in here. These 2 little dowels here are holding it. You're still on the lathe. Pull this off. Slide this ring, with a solid ring, on with a little bit of glue. Slide this one on, clamp it together. Now at that point you have to wait for the glue to set. Depending on how comfortable you are with turning, I would say a few hours overnight is good. After that's done, you've got it all glued together. This ring is proud of here. The outside is done. And then you just clean the inside out, and you can see if you use the same, I use a contrasting piece here. If you use the same ring that you cut out of here, you won't see this ring on the inside. It'll look like one continuous piece of wood. The grain matches and everything. That's how'd you do it kind of thing. If you've got this with that raised wave in it. John's going around the country still teaching this method. He devised it. He's still teaching this method. And it's just one of the gee whiz things that's interesting to do. Okay, guys, I showed off enough.